Welcome to another Coffee with Joy. I'm your host, Joy, and I'm so elated to have my guest, Michael, as we talk about health, as we talking about being who you are. As you know, as you get older, do you ever consider some things as far as working out, eating healthy? But today, my guest, Michael, have you all covered today as we talk about staying healthy, eating the proper food, and just getting out. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to stop. So after these messages, we're going to talk to my guest, Michael.
Our mission focuses on showcasing local and global talent of all ages on and off the field. We will strive to inspire, educate, and bridge the divides through our media collaboration. Our goal is to give student athletes and coaches the platform to let their talents be seen and a platform for the community to let their voices be heard. This is the Union Media Group.
Welcome back to Coffee with Joy. I'm so excited. So now we're going to have my guest, Michael, come on, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. Hello, Michael. How are you, my dear friend? Hello.
Hey, everything's rocking. That music in the beginning, I was like jamming. It was like, don't stop the music.
So, so Mike, can you tell people a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get right into our discussion.
I am more than happy to do that. I am a 66-year-old kid. I grew up here on the streets, the tough streets of North Las Vegas, Nevada, where I learned street smarts to get through life. I was an athlete my whole life. In fact, sports got me through some tough times, a tough childhood. And as I kind of got merged out of that sports thing, I became a CPA. I was sitting on my butt all day and, I ballooned. I ate just like my dad. And it wasn't until my dad, bless his heart, came down with cancer, lung cancer. He had smoked for many years and he didn't know how to eat. And he and I were so distant from one another. And the last 3 months of his life, he was given a death sentence. I got to know my dad. I went and visited him every day. And about 3 weeks before he passed, Miss Joy, we had this conversation and he got into the regrets that he had in life. And that spoke to me. I had never heard my dad ever express a regret on anything. And in that humility that we both had during that, the last 3 months of his life, we connected. And that day, as he expressed all these regrets and worries, I went home and it moved me. And then on a hot day in June in 1998, my dad, just he and I together, he passed away in my arms. I'll never forget him taking his last breath. And that got me thinking that, number one, I don't want to live with regret. And I could see I was headed down the exact same path as my father, as far as my own weight. I had ballooned, heaviest I'd ever been. I played for a Final Four basketball team at UNLV with Jerry Tarkane. It was their first Final Four team in 1977. 4 guys off that team went to the NBA. I was just a practice player.
Uh-huh.
180 pounds. I could, run all day. I mean, it was just, the best shape of my life. And then, fast forward, after dad died, I had ballooned to 254 pounds. It was huge. I couldn't play basketball anymore. And I reflected back on dad's dying so many times, and I had to make some changes, which I did. I found some entrepreneurs that had a great, health system. I didn't know how to eat, but that system, I was able in 2 months release 50 pounds. And it just gave me my life back. And only 14 months later, because I had adopted my athletic lifestyle again, at age
Uh-huh.
50, completed my first Ironman triathlon. For any of you that don't know what that is, that's a 2.4-mile swim followed by a 112-mile bike ride followed by running a marathon, 26.2 miles. You have to do that in 17 hours. And that
Wow.
got me into where I'm at today with health and fitness and life, because I don't want to live a life of regret. And that's
Right.
about me.
But I mean, that's perfect way to segue in, because I think a lot of people get discouraged as they start to get older. Of course, things are going to happen, right? And they're afraid to do certain things. They don't know how to really, incorporate their body with certain foods, with certain exercise, because they thinking that I need to go hard. I need to do this. I need to do that. So how did you get into helping people to really say, okay, to really make a life, to really change their life for a better them, use, just with exercise and eating healthy? How did that all come about, and what do you continue to pour into them? And I know you utilize your social media a whole lot for that.
Yeah, social media has been a huge tool to
Yes.
reach people. Obviously, it's the same. It's what you're doing here on your YouTube channel, and we met on Instagram, obviously. So I'm so thankful for that. This company is a network marketing company. It's $9 billion company. They're global, and I started just to share their products. But during this period of time, I was also transforming myself. I didn't know what God created me for. I'd
Mm.
hear all these leaders who were so influential, such great people, talk about their why, and I never knew what my why was
Oh, okay.
until about a year ago. At age 65, I figured out what my why was, and I created, the fullness life. Fullness to me, my whole existence, the reason that God created me was to bring people to this fullness, which I define as being one with God.
Right.
And so for me to help somebody, I want them to be one with God. And to me, this is where team sports comes into play. I played
Mm.
on as a junior in high school, a state championship basketball team. There were 5 of us, 3 black athletes and 2 white athletes. And two of my black brothers passed away during COVID, and it was
Mm.
touching. I mean, we're still so close. And that's to me like if I was in the presence of God, that's what it would be like. It'd be like if Joy is there and Joy's kids and my kids, and we're all working together. There's no guile. We all have differences, but we're all working together in love. And the big part of living in fullness, I believe, is God
Mhm.
gave us this beautiful, rich earth that man has taken parts of it and made fake food, in my opinion.
Yeah.
and and so my whole existence, if you look at like a Venn diagram, you know how you have the 3 circles and
Yes.
in the middle touches. If you
Uh-huh.
improve any one of those 3, and the 3 is body, mind, and spirit. So for me, 2006, when I finally got a hold of my health and found this superfood and lost 50 pounds, my body
Mm.
connected to my mind and spirit. So I
Yeah.
attribute, in God's plan, that if I can help somebody get healthy physically,
Hmm.
the sky is the limit to what they can do because of God's plan.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
and so that's to me as I wake up in the morning and that's when my feet hit the floor. I'm thinking about okay, how can I help bring some of the fullness? That's my
Mm.
legacy now.
Right, right. And I think that's a good idea because definitely incorporating God, letting people know, hey, that's part of the circle. Because without him, there wouldn't be a circle, right? So definitely making sure we incorporate him, making sure that, hey, how can I live a full life by incorporating him into me, but me showing to everyone else? Because I live by the standard, hey, dear Lord, allow me to be a leader, allow me to be a follower after you as I'm a leader for others because what you implant in me that people get to see out of me is the fullness and purpose that you pour into me that people get to see because I'm just a vessel that I want you to use, right? So I want to be able to making sure that I eat right, I exercise, and granted, I love my size, right? But I definitely want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to make sure that I pour more life onto me. So what are some healthy tips as far as like food that you incorporate into making sure that a person eat healthy and do right towards their body, and especially like older people, right? And the reason why I say older, 40 plus, because some people don't live it, they live in that realm like, hey, I can just continue to do what I need to do, not knowing that you help and
Oh.
deteriorate your body if you do not eat right. So what are some things that you encourage to eat right, to live, to add years onto your life?
The number one question that I get out of I have I'm blessed with 165,000 followers on Instagram, and
Mhm.
I get inboxed every day, and kind of
Mm.
a theme of a primary question is what should I eat? And
Yeah.
so and it's simpler than what people make it out to be. So I'll give you one key. If you just follow this one key, then you could live a magnificent, healthy life. And then I'll get into a little more detail. But the one key is a gentleman, when I first started this journey, he was an endurance athlete. He had ran rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon. That
Okay.
takes like 20 hours. I mean, it's a goal
Mm.
that I want to do. The guy was a fitness geek. And so he took me to the grocery store for the very first time and taught me the following. He said, Mike, inside the store where you have all of the shelves, he said he called it fake food. So we would go up down the aisles. It was cans, it was boxes,
Uh,
and he taught me to look at food labels. And he said, all of this food has been manufactured. And then he took me to the perimeter of the store, produce, meats, chicken, fish, eggs,
mm.
natural whole foods. So I just did a reel on that recently, and it had like 30,000 views, I think. So for anybody that wants to eat right, just go to the grocery store and don't shop anywhere inside. Shop the perimeter and eat whole foods. That's
Oh,
how simple
wow.
is that. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
obviously there's parts around it, but let me add just a few bits of wisdom to that. Number one key, protein.
Mm.
And to eat protein in every meal. People say, well, should I fast? There's all these things about that, and I'm not opposed to fasting at all. But I tell people, especially people, and like the number two question I get is, how do I overcome sugar? So if they'll eat protein in like 4 meals a day, so number one, eat protein, and number two, eat complex carbohydrate. What's a complex carb? A complex carb is like a green leafy vegetable. Stick to
Uh-huh.
organic. Don't get it sprayed. And I I read a book on longevity, and they studied the people in Okinawa who had the more people lived age 100 per 100,000 in Okinawa than anywhere in the world. And
Mm.
92% of their calories came from one food source, purple sweet potato. It's a resistant starch. So eat clean carbohydrates with resistant starches. That's number two. Number three is eat good fats. Stay away from vegetable and seed oils. If you got canola oil, soy oil, sunflower oil, the typical vegetable, axe it. And 19 out of the 20 products inside of the shelves has vegetable oils. Nix that. You want coconut oils, you want avocado oil, you want extra virgin olive oil. Get those kind of fats in you. Number 4 on this list, get enough sleep. Americans don't sleep enough. Get 7 to 9 hours a day, and don't cheat yourself. Don't, I'm going to stay up till midnight. No, wrong.
Yeah.
The sleep you get between 9 p.m. and 12 a.m. is the best sleep you can get during the whole night. So get enough sleep. And then the final 5th thing, you guess this, is movement. You got to move. Now, what's interesting, you saw the order I gave. The first 3 were food. I'll just end with this, and this is going to freak some people out. The most famous diet in America has a 98% long-term failure rate, and that is the eat less, move more diet. Oh, if I just go on a diet and eat less and go to the gym and kill myself, I'll lose weight. Yeah, you'll lose some weight, but you nuke your metabolism. 95%. Let me get this. I got that wrong. Let me go backwards. 90% of your results in any health regimen you want to do is what you put in your body. 90. 5% sleep, 5% movement. And Michael Kogan, PhD, taught me that. He's a guru. I mean, go look him up. So it's food-based. It's what you have. And I just gave you a recipe on what to shop in the store, eat protein, eat healthy carbohydrates, and eat healthy fats. And that's it. That's my recipe for fullness, other than getting on your knees and saying your prayers.
Wow. My memory just did like a complete lapse in the grocery store. Like now, every time when I go, eat fresh around the whole perimeter. Wow. So when we return, we're going to definitely listen to more with Mike as we talk about variety of sugar. Why sugar? I'm going to let you hold on to that. So please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. If you after these messages, we're going to return back with my guest, Michael.
Bring them out, hey. Bring them out, yeah. Bring them out, hey. Bring them out, VIP coming live from the VIP. Heard the nightlife, lost life with that.
It's already out of the bag, people. Chuckston Coffee is here. So please make sure you go get your tickets. It's definitely a great cause. As part of the proceeds will definitely benefit the Diva Movement Incorporated. As we'll be talking more about that on my show. So please make sure you stay tuned as well as follow my social media. So we're going to listen to this quick video about sugar. What do you know about sugar?
Type for sugar. You're less hungry, less fatigue. You lose excess water and fat. Your mood increases. Oh, your skin looks better. Less stiffness.
So, Michael, tell us about sugar. Sugar is everywhere. So how can I have to eat. Every time when I look up something, sugar is there, sugar is here. It's all types of glucose. So what is it about sugar that keeps people going?
Yeah, well, it doesn't keep you going. You only
Not
think that
investment, but they want to get it. They stop in the circle. Should be the perimeter.
Let me talk about 2 forms of sugar first. I'm going to talk about the one that nukes your liver. You get fatty liver, and it's the most awful kind of sugar you could ever put in your body, and you'd be amazed at how many products it's in. That's high fructose corn syrup. There's a YouTube video on a doctor out of UC Davis that it blew up the internet. It's had like 70 million views. And this guy goes into all of the, so avoid high fructose corn syrup like it's the plague, like it was COVID. You don't want that in your body. But generally the sugar, the table, the white sugar. But there are some fruits that spike glucose, blood sugar levels, just like white table sugar does. But white table sugar, do you want to know why the food companies put it in all their products? It tastes good, and you go back and buy some more.
Yeah, that keeps them going.
It's
Yes.
like
And it's
major food
bad.
corporations, all of you that are out listening to me, maybe some of you even work for these major food companies. They don't care about you. They only care about their shareholders. They're just going to pawn off people that get sick eating all that sugar to the drug companies. And all the drug companies do is mask the problem so you can go back to the food company and still eat like crap. So sugar is so toxic to the human body.
Yes.
Sugar has a unique element to it that makes breaking the habit difficult. There's no doubt in America, there is a lot of people with emotional struggles, and they numb out their pain through various forms. Sugar is one. All kinds of addictions, drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, road rage, all of that numbs this internal pain. And when people get locked on sugar as a way to numb out, because it does taste good, and you get this little high for like, 3 minutes. And then if they were really listening to their body, the body's just like, oh my gosh. So when you put all that sugar in your body, there's it massive inflammation. It spikes blood sugars. It could cause type 2 diabetes that you don't want to have, and you can get rid of. And 1/3 of America has diabetes, either pre or type 2 diabetes, 1/3. And that's not good. I won't get into the detail of diabetes, but sugar causes that. And so is it like, I had a woman that I had hired, or she hired me. She lives here in Las Vegas with me, just a great lady. She's a diabetic. She's on insulin. And so she goes on my program. She eliminates sugar out of her diet. It was hard. Even as a diabetic, she was still putting it in her, but we got her to cut it. She was able to reduce insulin levels by about 90%. She was amazed by that. So she lost a ton of weight, and she and her sisters flew out from Wisconsin, and they were going to drive from Las Vegas back to Wisconsin. And so she's on this trip back to Wisconsin, and she, I'm watching her Facebook thing, and she sent me a private message or a text, one of the two. She says, Mike, I can't believe this happened. I had a little tiny cupcake. I mean, it's probably like the size of that, kind of a cupcake. And she says, I gained 3 pounds the next day. How is that possible?
Oh, wow.
Water retention, because it created this massive inflammation. The body goes, oh, no, I don't want that in me. And so it pulls in all this water and retained it. It took her, even in a state of like ketogenic. I've been in that keto state many times. I'm embarking on another keto journey right now. And there was a time, because I was checking my blood ketone levels quite often to see if I was in ketosis. And it was during a Christmas time. I ate a piece of pie, a pumpkin pie with sugar in it. I didn't get back into ketosis for 3 weeks with one piece of pie. So sugar is just awful. And here's the, I'm telling you about all the negative, but here's the positive. When you get off sugar, is it hard? Yeah. But you'll be amazed within days. Like my reel on go off 7 days. All of those things happen. Your energy levels shoot through the roof. I can't tell you how many people has messaged me back from that reel saying, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping better. I feel way better.
Yeah.
Inflammation is gone. I'm moving better. Mike, you were right. My skin looks better.
Yeah.
7 days. So how do you want to live your life? You want to be a slave to your tongue? or you want this body to deliver for you what you want: joy and peace and happiness and energy and vibrance. That's what God created for us with this earth. And
Right.
man created sugar for their own pocketbook.
So what is like some substitute that you can have for your in place of sugar? Because we know that takes a while to even wing someone off, right? And I mean, of
Not
course,
really.
you work with a few clients and you have tried to wing them off, but what are some substitute and how can you crave
Okay.
that in place of the sugar?
This might freak you out when I give you this answer because it's true. Do you know what a Krispy Kreme donut is?
Is
Joy?
dough and sugar?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a national brand, Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
When I smell like a fresh hot donut, my
Uh-huh.
stomach gets sick just smelling it.
Oh wow.
So when I get around Whole Foods, like for lunch today, I had this bed of greens with some um, balsamic vinegar and hard-boiled eggs, and I put salt and pepper on it.
Mhm.
When I had that meal done, my mouth started to water. Was there any sugar in there? No. So the substitute is Whole Foods. Do I like sweet things? Sure. Do I eat an apple? I don't eat apples much, but I eat strawberries and eat a ton of
Okay.
blueberries. Okay. Um, and watermelon, surprisingly, as sweet as it is, but there's hardly any sugar in, a piece of watermelon. So I'll,
Mm.
occasionally, if somebody has it, I'll have a piece of watermelon, but I just don't crave sugar. It just not in my microbiome just doesn't want it. And that's why I said, if I get around a donut or I get around like something like that, it's just like, ugh. Because I know if I ate that or if I drank dairy, I would have so much gas. My stomach would be on fire. Even if I
Ugh.
ate a cupcake, I would be
Yeah.
dying.
Oh
So the
wow.
substitute is Whole Foods, the perimeter of the
Yes.
grocery store, and the substitute is protein.
Yes. And that's really, and then to add to that, restraint. You got to practice self control, pull back. Because I think to get on that level, and you can, but it's really mind, body, and soul, like you stated, really just having that self control and really pulling back. Because as I'm going through my own, because I had a salad, but of course I had ranch dressing. Should have had balsamic or vinaigrette or
Mhm.
something light, but I love ranch. But I know I got to pull back to eat my salad. So I'm work with me, Micah. I'm one of those people you're talking about. Definitely work with me. Now, what are some great exercise that people can incorporate into their, into their daily lives that may have like inflammation or who's struggling with arthritis or who's unable to be, they're mobile, but they're not full capacity at being mobile. What are some easy exercise that they can do?
Well, the best is walking, period.
Hmm.
My wife has Parkinson's, and that's what she does, although she has in the past, she hasn't in a while, will go do boxing and, some things like that. But for most people that are struggling with issues, number one is
Hmm.
change diet. If you got
Right.
inflammation, you got all these things, you got to, change your diet first. It's going to make moving easier. And for those that haven't moved in a long time, simple walking, and then you gravitate to something more than that. I will absolutely confirm two forms of exercise for somebody that hit age 40 on.
Yeah.
If you're 70, this is really true. You need to strength train. You need to lift
Yeah.
weights. You need to do something because we lose so much muscle mass, and our
Mhm.
bodies, when we age, doesn't efficiently gather in all the amino acids. So our protein levels need to be higher.
Okay.
So we need to strength train. The other form of exercise that has been proven by science to work to lower weight, increase your energy levels, to feel better is high intensity interval training. There was a study done of a group of people in Canada, and they took this one group. These were all generally healthy people, but were obese, and they, segmented them into two areas. And they had one group that 1 hour a day did low intensity. They got on a spin bike, and the intensity was so low that, they could turn and talk to the person next to them. So it'd be like a
Right.
brisk walk. 1
Okay.
hour, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. So they did 5 hours of training a day. Then the other group, after a warm up, did 5 minutes of high intensity intervals. And they were going hard for 30 seconds. I mean, as hard as they could go on that spin bike, rest for a minute and a half, 3 times the length of the hard interval, 30 seconds, rest 90 seconds, go hard again for 30 seconds. So they do that 10 times for 5 minutes, 1 day a
Okay.
week. So they did 5 minutes hard 1 day a week versus 5 hours of easy a week. In the length of the study, I think it was either 12 or 20 weeks. Guess which group had the better fitness and the better weight loss? Was it the 5 hour group or the 5 minute group? What would you say, Miss Joy?
The 5 minute group.
5 minutes.
The 5 minutes group.
5 minute
And on
group.
these,
So
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
that
ahead. Go ahead.
that's just, well, so that's, the other thing too is I wouldn't hesitate to tell you to go and hire a professional, somebody that's schooled in your body problems and things like that, and let them tell you how to do it. See, oftentimes there's this, I have a belief in life. So often we look for how to do something. See, all these
Yeah.
questions you're asking me is how would you do something? But the reality is the better way to do it is to ask who can help me, not
Right.
how, who. So if you have some of your, guests online listening to this, go hire you a professional for 3 months and learn what they
Right.
tell you to do for your exercise, because the human body, it's like I have an issue that started in childhood. I played basketball my whole life, and my left ankle was constantly taped because I sprained it always. So later in life, when I started doing Ironman triathlon and had all of that, a tremendous amount of movement,
Okay.
I developed some imbalances that
Mm.
this sports injury chiropractor and I diagnosed. And so I had to reverse all of these problems and had to do it exactly using the exercises he said to do. And so this is where I found who could help me. And this guy is I owe him everything. There's no way I could have got through all my finishes and 15 finishes in the Ironman without this guy. So
Right.
that's the other advice that I would give any of your listeners. If you want to learn to move, go hire you a fitness pro.
Wow. Now we're gonna return back after these messages. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. We're gonna continue to talk to Michael about just getting healthy. I hope that you all taking this information because health is wealth, definitely as you get older. So we do have a professional in the building. So after these messages, we're gonna talk to my guest, Michael. Latest news, today's news, current news, gossip news, you name it. I am your host with Coffee with Joy as I share any up-to-date news that's taking place around the world. But if you would like to check it out, please make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Coffee with Joy, where I share the latest topic. I am your host with Coffee with Joy with today's topic. Welcome back to Coffee with Joy. Now, Michael, what is like one great move that you do on a consistent basis? As you're working out, as you're doing exercise, what is one move that you do every day that keeps Michael intense and really look forward to?
One move. You mean as like in an exercise?
Exercise, correct. Uh-huh.
Well, I think you already answered the question. It's consistency. And I don't move the same every day.
Okay.
Right now I'm in a strength 90-day, 90 or more strength training. And so 3 days a
Okay.
week I'm doing a targeted group of exercises that was prescribed to me for my
Mhm.
legs. And then I do 3 days a week targeted for my arms and shoulders, all triathlon based.
Okay.
Uh, when I am training for endurance, when I'm, going on a 6-hour bike ride or doing an hour run or, swimming 4,000 yards, that sort of thing, I'm constantly, moving and those. But so I just think the key is you got to move. I don't have one thing that I do other than I'm doing something. That's my one
Okay.
thing.
And the reason I ask that because I know some people. I go to the gym every morning, and there's one person's always on the elliptical, and in my head, I'm like, don't you want to change to something else? So, and again, I asked the question because this person really, and that's my assumption. This person really loved the elliptical, and I was told, you got to change it up, right? Because the body has to, you have to put, I guess, more tense, more, like the weights. You have to encourage your body and change around. So I try to do
Mhm.
some things that's different. Like I do the walk. I do like a very miniature jog, and I do the elliptical. And I have different days where I do legs, body. But the denominator to all of this, I just like to move because I do jump rope, just get my body moving and going and build up my heart rate. And
Mhm.
and of course, along with that, eating right because my favorite thing's a salad, but I know the ranch is not that good because it has sugar in it. So we got to pull back. Now I'll be cognizant as I'm eating. I can hear Michael, okay, you got to do the perimeter. We got to do the perimeter. Always the perimeter. Always making sure that we eat healthy. So, Mike, this has been some great information. Is there anything that you would like to share with the people? Any last tidbits as if someone's moving in? And also, where can they reach you? Because I know that you have a wealth of knowledge on how to, just eating right, making sure that you move, and giving some great information on how to stay healthy.
Well, the one thing that I would say, and I tell this to everybody, and it kind of goes along with this sign behind me: lace them up, we're hitting the beach. I was on the beaches of Normandy with my son. My oldest son was in the military. He was in the Army at the time. He was a Black Hawk pilot, and he and I went to the Normandy beaches where the D-Day invasion. We waited out in the water like 3 days before June 6th, and we're knee deep in water, and we're looking at the beaches where all of 4,000 men got mowed down. And I've often thought about the courage of that young soldier, that 18-year-old boy who had to have tremendous fears,
Mhm.
but his drive for freedom overweighed that fear. And so for anyone here, don't quit. That kid that got off of that landing craft, he couldn't quit. If he got quit, he would have died. But a lot of them did. So that's why I have that sign: lace them up, we're hitting the beach. You can never quit. Once you get going and starting something, don't quit. So many people find it easier to quit, and all you're doing is building the quit muscle. So don't
Yeah.
ever quit. Um, I am on Instagram at michael.c.lantz, Lentz. And on Facebook, if you just Facebook, .com/Mike, Mike Lantz, and you could find my that's my personal account there. And by all means, reach out to me, send me a private message that you saw me here on Miss Joy's account, and I'll be glad to, like, I answer tons of questions, sometimes up to 2 hours a day. I mostly just voice answer because I don't like typing with my ADHD.
Got to do the voice text. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Michael. You all hear that? Do not quit. Whatever you do not quit. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep going. Don't stop. So, as you all know, I am your host, Coffee with Joy. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow. If you would like to patronize Coffee with Joy, please follow on my screen and on the screen that you see here, and we will be so ever grateful. And keep in mind, as you all know, if it's a weekday, it is definitely my next guest is Manny. Forgot about it. My Manny is my next guest, as we will have her up as we talk about fashion and style. So, as you all know, it is Coffee with Joy. I'm your host, Joy. If you know, live life on purpose. See you all soon. We kick it